People often ask, how can a person abuse a child? I ask, how can so many good people not do anything about it? People often ask, how can a person abuse a child? I ask, how can so many good people not do anything about it?
Welcome and good evening. You're tuned into a special program by ChildLinK, and we will be discussing a report produced by ChildLinK on the institutionalization of children in Guyana. And tonight, this evening in the studio, I have with me Stacy and Junior.
Thanks, Alex.
Welcome, of course. So Stacy, tell us a little bit about yourself and ChildLinK.
Okay, thank you for having us in the studio, Marissa. And I must say a pleasant good afternoon to Burmese, to Region 5 and Region 6. So my name is Stacy Parris, and I'm a counselor and a trainer at ChildLinK. Now, ChildLinK is an organization that is located in Georgetown. It's basically an organization that has been established for over the past 10 years. It's a non-for-profit organization, and basically the work that ChildLinK does is that it advocates and it champions, basically it's the voice for children. All of the work that ChildLinK does, it aims at preventing violence and abuse. A little more about ChildLinK. Our mission is to provide a Guyanese society where every child has the right to grow up in a safe and secure family and community. One of the things that ChildLinK realizes very important for us achieving this mission is partnership. So throughout the program, you're going to hear me reiterating the importance of partnership. So therefore, ChildLinK partners with both governmental organizations, non-governmental organization, community-based organization, faith-based organization. ChildLinK's work, like I would have said, primarily is with children, but we realize that in working with children, we need to work with parents, we need to work with families, and we need to work with communities as a whole. So that is basically ChildLinK in a synopsis.
Thank you very much. You sound very passionate about, ChildLinK and the job.
I definitely am. I'm passionate about the job that I do, and I'm passionate about the protection of children.
Wonderful. So Junior, he's from FAC organization. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
All right, good afternoon, viewers. Thanks for having us, Melissa, once again.
No problem.
I am Junior Blair, the social worker at FACT, which is Family Awareness, Consciousness, Togetherness. It's an acronym, and basically what we do is that we provide social services to the community that's in Corrigan. We are located at Springland, 78th Village, and what we do is that we do counseling, HIV counseling for persons who are willing to know the status. Also, we provide after-school sessions for children who we provide for in the OVC department, which is the Orphan and Vulnerable Children. So we work with people and children who are affected or infected with HIV. So our work has been going on for the past 16 years. And we are quite a family in that aspect, because over the years we have grown into the community as much as the community is growing into us. So we are a very important aspect in our community, as our community is part of our organization. We've been partnering with a lot of NGOs and also a lot of institutions, the ministry and so on. So we are trying to build that network where we are providing services and also referring persons for services that we don't offer at the office. So persons who would like to know the HIV status, counseling, we do parenting and all these kind of things. And we even do empowerment for young people and provide skills training and so on. So those are some of the things that we do at FACT.
That's a lot of tasks. Do you also provide treatment for a person?
No, we refer them to the treatment site, New Amsterdam, Skeldon, and also Georgetown.
I've never heard of FACT. to be honest, and I'm sure a lot of persons out there.
Well, I'm sure that after tonight you
Yes.
have a good impression of that.
All right, so let's jump right into the program. So Stacy, tell us a little bit about CRA. What is CRA, and some of the works that ChildLinK is doing in Region 5.
Okay then, I'll be pleased.
But what about Region 6?
Okay, so
Or for another
we're working
program?
in Region 5 as for now.
Now, okay.
We're hoping that we'll have works done in Region 6. Actually, we're hoping to have works done throughout the 10 administrative regions, right? But like we say, partners.
So you're starting with Region 5?
Correct. So CRA is actually an acronym. It's short for the Child Rights Alliance, which is basically an alliance of a number of organizations across Guyana. So again, these organizations came together, and like I said, I'll be reiterating the word partnership. So these organizations came together to partner for one common goal, which basically is to champion the rights for children and also to prevent violence and abuse. So these organizations consist of both governmental organizations, we have NGOs, we have community-based organizations, and also we have faith-based organizations that all form the Child Rights Alliance. So FACT organization is actually a partner of the Child Rights Alliance. The Child Rights Alliance is headed by the Rights of the Child Commission and ChildLinK, right? So basically, what is the objective of the Child Rights Alliance? It's basically to ensure the protection and the holistic development of children throughout Guyana through partnering with various stakeholders. And in order to do this, there are basically 4 goals that the Alliance wishes to accomplish. One is to promote respect for the rights of children, to safeguard children from violence and abuse, also to advocate, and this is very important, this is one of the major things that the Alliance is going to do, advocate for the development and implementation of policies, programs, and legislations that are going to better the lives of children, families, and communities throughout Guyana. Also, we're going to empower and strengthen our partners so that they themselves, in their delivery of their services, can also provide a holistic development for the children.
Single parent family now? Because you're saying partnership.
Yes, and we'll get to that even later in the program. But we're working with families, be it a single parent, be it a nuclear family, be it an extended family, and even a single parent family. They need our partnership even so much more. In terms of what is it that we're doing in Region 5, so we've partnered with FACT. And so FACT is actually our corresponding CBO community-based organization that is working in Region 5. So FACT is going to be doing a lot of FACT and CRE. We're going to be doing a lot of sensitization. We'll be sensitizing over about 2,000 children. We'll be doing a lot of psychosocial support, that is counseling for children. And also a lot of parenting skills, training and support for parents. So even there we see single parents can benefit, not just single parent, but even nuclear families, both parents. We would love for in Region 5 to have both male and female parents to come out to our sessions. And I know Junior is going to talk more about those. But in terms of partnering in Region 5, we're partnering with the Ministry of Education. We've already started to partner with the police. We're partnering with the communities because we're working with various communities in Region 5. And I know also that we're partnering with the Neighborhood Democratic Council. Maybe I probably would have missed a few, and I know that my colleague is going to fill in those for me. So that is just a bit about what the CRA is about and what is it that we're doing in Region 5.
So with all this collaboration and sensitization, we're supposed to at least have a drop in suicide anytime soon.
Well, we're hoping for that. But yet again, we need partnership. We need more persons to come on board. Yes, the word for the night is partnership.
So Junior, a little bit about FACT's work in Region 5.
Okay, we have this year, probably with 3 months or so now, that we've been partnered with ChildLinK in an effort to prevent violence and abuse in the Region 5. And one of our main goal is to actually have a committee set up so that after we would have done our work within the 2 years that would have passed, they are there to still continue on that basis. With FACT there, it is an opportunity for FACT to be there to provide the sort of counseling, which is 100 persons that we would have to counsel this journey, or more, because we welcome that also, who would have experienced violence or experiencing violence. We also have the parenting program that we're about to enroll also, so that parents on the West Berbice region can have access to such programs and be a part of it, because we welcome each and every one, regardless if you're a single parent or whatever are you. So because we recognize that parenting plays a big role in curbing a lot of violence and a lot of abuse, and even the parent himself might have experienced some sort of abuse as it is. So we're there and we're partnering. Recently we had a session with Fort Wellington youth group, the police youth group there, and it was very amazing to see the kind of interaction and the kind of I would say thirst to have such session in the area. And there's one of the things that we really appreciate ChildLinK coming on, bringing us on board to have that done as it is. So yeah, we are there to have a committee set up as it is. We're there to do parenting, counseling, and whatever area it is that we recognize that it's needed, and we could provide this sort of service, we're willing to help in that regard.
All right, well, thank you very much. So Stacy, can you tell us a little bit about the research paper and its importance?
All right, so an important task actually for the CRA project is to produce 4 positioner research papers. And so the institutionalization of children in Guyana is actually the first of 4 papers that the CRA intends on producing. And so why research? We know that research is so important. If we are to embark on a new project or program, we want to know where strategic planning needs to go, what is the framework, what resources need to go into it. We need to have research, we need to have empirical data to say, well, this is the issue within a Guyanese context, and these are the issues and these are the areas that we need to focus on. So we know researching, it's extremely important. So the institutionalization of children research was actually done earlier this year in 2016. And so, like I said, we're conscious that not much research on specific social issues is being done in Guyana. So whenever we want to talk about certain issues, we usually have to rely on data collected or researched in the Caribbean region or other countries around the world. And although they might have similarities, we want something that is just grassroots, Guyanese context, that tell us by numbers exactly what is happening in Guyana. And we think that, research of these kinds, it's actually relevant and it's very timely, right? And so CRA, the Child Rights Alliance, thought it best to cover these 4 research papers, which we will have discussions on the others as they're being produced. But this is just the first for now.
All right, well, thank you. I do hope that you're enjoying this program. We're going to take a short 15 minutes break. It's a very wonderful short clip about alternative care, and we will return.
Today, in our society, it is noticeable that a growing number of children are living without adequate care and protection. Parents and families may not be able to provide the care and nurture that they would like to give to their children for a variety of reasons, including chronic poverty, disability, the impact of conflict, sickness, or the death of a partner. Most parents in these situations continue to do the best they can, but the outcomes of their children in terms of their health, education, or protection may be far from what they would wish. Other parents struggling to bring up their children without additional support are often forced to place their children temporarily or permanently in the care of others. Michael's story demonstrates how inadequate care for children can lead to criminal and antisocial behaviors, dropping out of school, and exploitation. It also shows, with the right intervention, children like Michael can be reintegrated back into a positive family environment. Michael is just one of the many orphans and vulnerable children that ChildLinK is helping across Guyana through direct support to children and families, while lobbying for broader policies and increased investments for families to get the support they need to care properly for their children.
Me and my brother were left to look after ourselves for a long time. My mother left me and went for work in the interior. Sometimes our father would leave us for days and there would be no one around to watch us. When I get up in the morning, we used to go to school sometimes if we had things to eat, or we used to stay home, watch TV, ramp and fight with each other. Then we used to go on the road and beg for things to eat, and sometimes I used to ask the neighbor for things to eat. In the night, we used to stay on the road begging for money. We used to picking up bottles around them shop and taking them back to the shop for money. We used to live over the road by the shop. Then after, we started to be friends with them big man. Then me big brother said we can't get a work. The three of we like fetching in things like drinks, drink case, and so. When we finished working, they used to give me like 1,000 or 2,000 and so. Not enough money though. Then our father decided to go into the interior for work. So he left us with his brother. Me uncle used to go out to meet his girlfriend. So we spent more time in the streets begging and we also start stealing. It gets real bad and we get picked up a few times by social services who put us in an institution. Every time somebody got to come collect us, uncle or auntie or daddy's girlfriend, the social services spoke to daddy, so he came back to us and agreed to proper care for when he has to go away for work. Daddy's girlfriend looked after us for a bit, but we never really saw her, so we got moved to go back with uncle again. Daddy was supposed to send us money when he was working away, so that we could eat properly and go to school. I think uncle kept a lot of it for himself. I was put in an institution again, but this time mommy came back from the interior and she was fighting for me. She wanted to get me back around that time ChildLinK started working with us. They talked to me, mommy, and me teachers at school. I don't like anything about living with my father. Sometimes we used to come home late and my father used to stay home and used to beat me bad. Pick up stick, belt, pot, spoon, anything you see he used to pick up and beat me bad. Bust up my skin, we brother used to get bad more and bad. I used to feel bad, never used to feel good. And then he beat me. Sometimes I used to want to run away, but I never run away. I used to pray and so ask God for forgiveness. I feel bad. I feel shame of begging for things. Then after one night, we went coming from football after begging and we see my father friend and we asked him for money and he gave all the money. Then the welfare come and call me and ask me what happened in there. Then they take me and put me in the bus, and that is how we end up in the home institution.
How children are cared for really matter to us as parents, as adults, as professionals who have responsibility for children. It does affect us individually and as a society. Across the world and even within our own families, family type environment is one that is preferred particularly by children, as the best place for a child to grow up. A secure family really supports a child's normal development. It helps with their emotional attachment and their cognitive development. And whilst we know that sometimes families are not necessarily the safest place for some children, which is quite unfortunate, we know that children have consistently said to us that they prefer to be in their own family.
Over the years that we've been working with children and families in the various communities across our country, we found that there's a lack of preventative and rehabilitative service for children who have been removed from their families and children who are at risk of being separated from their families because of abuse, because of violence, whatever the case may be. So ChildLinK has embarked on initiative where we are collaborating with the Ministry of Human Services, Social Security, specifically the Child Protection Agency, to work with children who are at risk of being separated from their families. So in this we are providing a preventative service where we are working with the children and their families to ensure that that child has an environment where he or she feels safe and secure and can develop to his or her best potential. With this, what we are doing, our approach to working with this target group is a family-centered approach where we do not work with the child in isolation of the family. We work with the family as a unit to ensure that both the child and the family at large are able to function effectively, to ensure that this child is safe and protected and have the opportunities to grow up to his or her best potential. We do this primarily through our parenting skills trainer, who is responsible for direct work with the parents, helping that parent to develop the skills and capacity to talk to their children, to be supportive and loving, to spend more time with the children, giving parents the opportunity to reflect on what life was like for them as a child as they were growing up, and helping them to link those feelings and what they have experienced back then to what the child may be going through presently.
I am a mother and grandmother. Before I did that session, I was a very angry person. I didn't know how to talk to my children. I just felt that taking care of them was enough. And I thought that telling them you love your children, but telling them that you love them was not part of me. I assumed they knew that I loved them. But children need love. Children need to be told they are loved. So after I did this session, I am an avid reader. I love to read before I go to bed. And that is the time the children want to talk. So I learned to put away the newspaper, put away the books, and listen to what the children have to say. I learned that if they say something that is not right, I sit and correct them. As a parent, I help them with their homework. I did fun things with them. I try not to be angry. It's not that I am at that stage where I'm not very perfect in not being angry, but I'm trying to be not angry. And I spoke to them on different aspects of life. What I expect of them in school and out of school, their behavior pattern. And one of the things that ChildLinK has brought home to us is that we must tell our children every day that we love them. Hug them, tell them that we love them. And I have been doing that, and I have been gaining a lot of respect from my children. I am also benefiting from it because I speak to the girls when they come home, and I speak to the girls when they come to have a session with the children, and I tell them what problem I am encountering, so it's like they know what is happening in the home. So they will be able to talk to the children and correct where there is wrong. But as a parent, you do make mistakes. But someone is always there to tell you what to do, how to correct yourself and move on. And I have been doing that. I have been to all the sessions that I've been invited to. ChildLinK has taught me to go over the barrier I had as a child. It has brought me through that process of work, and now I could say, I am a better parent. I may not be the best parent, but I am trying to be a better parent to my grandchildren.
As part of the agency's response to obesity, which is orphan and vulnerable children, we put systems in place to deal with children who, for whatever reasons, cannot be with their biological parents. And one of those responses is foster care. Foster care is an alternative to placing children who cannot remain with family. Instead of placing them in residential institutions, what we call children's homes, we place them with what we call surrogate families.
We've been appealing to communities at large to play your part in protecting children. A lot of us live next to children who are being abused physically, sexually, verbally. So let's play our part in ensuring that these are reported.
Living in the orphanage was hard because I had to wear other people's clothes, and I could not sleep properly because them boys would beat me up. Sometimes they would burn up your skin with iron. Only thing that was good, we having food to eat. Now I get to go to school and taking my education. I never used to get to go to school there. Now I have football what the counselor helped me to join. Mom said when I go in, I must tell someone because they does worry about me. I never had that way when we used to do what we want when my father gone. My father used to buy shop food on the road. He never used to cook. Sometimes nothing to eat. Now my mother does cook every day and make sure we got proper things to eat. Nah, no junk food. She cook nice greens, fruit and so. My father used to beat me bad, but now my mother don't beat me. She does talk to me. And now me having fun. My stepfather just like a father to me. He does tell me mother to get new clothes to me. My father never used to do that. I used to wear back the same clothes and I used to get mad with that. I prefer my life now because I'm going up the right way and I'm being a better person in life. Going to school, taking in my education. I started living with my mother and I started going to school and stopped begging. I have my mother, stepfather and family. I think children want a family because they're going through the same thing I used to be through. I'm glad to talk my story and I'm glad for the counselor help me along. I want loving, good caring and my family that I have now.
Welcome back. If you have just tuned in, you are looking at a special program by ChildLinK. We're having a discussion on the institutionalization of children in Guyana, our first report by ChildLinK. All right, so Stacy, what are some factors which contribute to children being institutionalized?
Okay, so the report would have listed a number of factors or found a number of factors that actually contributed to children being institutionalized. One of which is poverty, abusive relationship and family violence, child abuse, and under child abuse we have neglect, we have physical abuse, we have sexual abuse, which plays a major part in children being institutionalized. We have also death of a parent, disasters, child misbehavior, and this basically it's like extreme or gross misbehavior in the sense that parents has lost like all of their parental control. They have no control over a child. So in cases like that, a child might be placed in institutional care. School absenteeism is also another reason on that list that can cause children to be institutionalized.
All right, so Junior, can you elaborate more about, could you give us 2 examples on how these factors can cause the children to be institutionalized?
Well, yeah, because poverty is one that is on the foreburner in most cases as it relates to institutionalization of children. Because the basic things is the need of the child, whether it be physical, emotional, or whatever it is. And you find that once the need isn't met by way of shelter, clothing, food, you find that it puts the child at a disadvantage to the rest of the community as it is, whereby you might probably see other children having, a meal or 2 during the course of the day, having shelter over the head. So you find that alone plays on the psychological part and emotional part of the child or emotional state of the child, because with that the child tends to shut in, and also not only shut in, it also attracts the attention of the child protection officer, because once a child is not being cared for because of poverty, you find that a lot of things can go contrary. So you find now instead of leaving the child to go wayward as it is, the child protection agency can, in that aspect, remove the child from the home because the need of the child is not met, which is very important. And also you have child sexual abuse, which is child abuse also, that children who were experiencing or who have experienced this sort of violence, you find that it warrants the immediate removal in some cases of the child from the home. So in that aspect you find that the child is placed in that home and away from that environment, which is putting the child at a disadvantage. So there's so many things, so many factors that can have a child institutionalized.
Okay, but in most cases, the children report themselves, or you have neighbors?
Well, you find there are different forms of reporting.
Yeah,
there's different form of reporting, because you find the child might probably tell a teacher, tell a friend or the peers, tell somebody who they trust, because most times the person who they trust they tell, and they would report to the relevant authorities.
And if I can just add to what you're saying, you just ask about neighbors reporting.
Yes.
Sometimes we live in little communities where we might be a neighbor and we know what's happening to the child next door. So it's our responsibility. Although it's not our child biologically, they're all of our children. So it's our responsibility. If we know a child is being sexually abused, physically abused, neglected, left alone, and so on, it's our responsibility to actually report those cases. And I know the Child Care and Protection number and also ChildLink's number through the advertisements that are showing. You can get the numbers from the ads. Right? So it's your responsibility as neighbors, as community members, to actually, once you know of these things happening, or you even suspect that a child is being abused, to report those cases. Because if we aren't the voice for them, who are going to be the voice for them?
That's where partnership comes in. Right. Partnership. So Stacy, can you tell us the statistic of children institutionalized in Guyana?
Okay. So the report would have produced quantitative data of children being institutionalized. So firstly, the report would have recognized that there are 23 residential homes across Guyana, and also there's a total of 829 children in alternative care as of 2016. There are 829 children in alternative care. Of that 829, 179 are in foster care and 650 children are actually in residential care. Residential care meaning homes, be it governmental or non-governmental homes, the children homes. So the children homes have 650 children. Foster care has 179, a total of 829. Of the 650 children that are in residential care, the children homes, 299 are boys and 351 of those are actually girls. So that is basically just a synopsis of what the institutionalization of children's report for 2016 would have produced.
All right, and finally, I'd like to hear from both of you. What can parents and caregiver do to give support and help
Right.
to
So
the children?
for me, there are four important critical things that I think that parents and caregivers can do. And so one of these fundamental things, especially if a child is in a residential home, is to frequently visit that child as much as the home allows. I know that each home might have, different rules and regulations as to when visits are done and how it's being done and so on. But we find that although the homes do allow parents to visit based on certain criteria, parents do not visit their children oftentimes. And that is one of the things that the report also would have highlighted. So parents need to visit their children once they're in institutional care as much as possible. Another thing that they need to do, if a child was, say, for example, taken out of the parents' care and placed in a residential home or foster care, and we know foster care is temporary,
Yes.
right? So it means that we're looking at reintegration. Residential care, residential homes are also temporary. We're still looking at reintegration with parents. So if a child was taken out of the parents' care, let's say because of sexual abuse, and the perpetrator still lives in the home, it's your responsibility as a mother, let's say a father, let's say the perpetrator is an uncle, and the perpetrator is still in the home. That child was taken out of the care. Now, in order for that child to be reintegrated, there are certain criteria that you need to meet. One, you need to ensure that the environment is safe for the child. So it means that is either you move from the home to somewhere else based on whatever situation it is, or the perpetrator be taken out of the home. And there are so many issues when it comes to sexual abuse as well. Like, for example, most cases you find when children report, even to their parents, to the mother, that they would have been sexually abused, there's often misbelief. So we need to start believing our children. We need to put our children above, our relationships, our boyfriends, our whatever it is. We need to start believing our children. So that is one thing that parents can do. We need to start believing our children, listening to our children. Also, if a child is in residential care, it means that parents need to work probably in one area or another on their parenting skills. And I know for Region 5, there are going to be a lot of parenting training being offered. So I'm thinking parents over there, it doesn't mean that your child has to be in a residential care for you to access this. Your child can very well be living with you. Maybe your child is probably just a little bit out of your control. Everybody from one time or the other need parenting skills. They say when you give birth to a baby, it doesn't come with a manual. And sometimes we say, after the first one it gets better. But sometimes it doesn't. It's all trial and error. So this is a great opportunity for persons in Region 5 to actually take advantage of parenting skills, training, education, support. So this is a great opportunity. So that's basically 4 points that I think of what parents can actually do to support and to help children who are in institutional care, with the intention of those children being reintegrated, because that is basically what we're looking for. Children to be living with their families, because we know they strive best when they're in their family setting, but not just any family setting, a fully functional family setting that it will help them to develop in all their potentials.
Were there any cases reported of children being abused in foster care? What if it happens? What measures does
Right. I'm not sure. I think the Child Care and Protection Agency would more so have those information and would be able to speak more liberal about that. But it is an interesting point.
Yes.
But I won't be able to say much about that at this point in time.
Maybe when you return for the second
Okay,
report.
I'll find out.
So, Junior, what are your thoughts?
Well, when you look at children being in this institution, you find that parents need to also do some rehabilitative work in the sense of, groom your parenting skills. Maybe you have it right, but it's just that it's not the right combination at the time, and these kind of things, so that you find that not only while the child is in the institution that the child is doing his part, you also need to do your part at home. So when the child do come back at home, you find that the child can easily integrate into the environment and still project some of what he or she would have learned at that institution back home, which is positive in the sense, so and these institutions should provide at least temporary services to these children, in the sense that you don't want it to be 5 years, 10 years, and these kind of things. 6 months, 8 months, depends on the severity of the offense or probably the situation. So you find that parents should take the opportunity and be a role model for the children, regardless of what, because all of us, we do have the power to make that change. Yes. And I appeal to that power to just look within yourself and say, listen, I don't need this to be the outcome of my life. I need to put things into perspective and do the best for my children, because at the end of the day, the children are our future.
That is true. So while they're in that care, you should rehabilitate.
Yeah.
So when you've rehabilitated, if you have your child back or your children, does the organization, they make regular checks to see how?
Well, I think, like for example, with the Child Care and Protection Agency, if a child was taken, the Child Care and Protection Agency would have placed the child in residential care. I am aware that once that child is reintegrated, they are gonna do checkup to ensure that that child has not gone back or fallen back into a situation that is similar or even worse. So I'm pretty sure that regular checks are being done by the Child Care and Protection Agency. I know, especially for the governmental homes, their intention is never to have a child, I don't even think for a year or two. It's basically based on short term. But again, they need parents to do their part. Remember, it's not just government, it's parents, it's family, it's communities.
Yes.
Because let's say a child is in residential care and the family isn't actually, taking on their responsibilities, the immediate family, let's say parents, but then we know as individuals we have so much other families. We have extended family who can also lend a helping hand, and that child can actually be reintegrated with an extended family or so on. So the work is not just for one person, one organization, it's for everybody to come together.
Partnership.
Yes.
So we're going to take a short break and return. Our time has expired. Jesus.
People often ask, how can a person abuse a child? I ask, how can so many good people not do anything about it? People often ask, how can a person abuse a child? I ask, how can so many good people not do anything about it?
All right, welcome back. I'll ask Stacy and Junior to give a brief closing remark about what NGO and the community can do for these children.
All right, so I think that we basically need to go back to, the ideology of it takes a village or a community to raise a child.
Yes.
And I think that worked pretty well
Back then.
But for some reason we've moved away from that and we've all just gone on with our own business, our whatever it is day to day. How can I be living next door, a few houses down, and know that a child in my community, right in my community, is being abused and not intervene, not do anything about it, and just say, no, it's not my business. I ain't care what go on. If she beat them and she kill them, the police don't take charge of that. That is not right. So we need to go back to that ideology, As community members, we need to look out for each other, look out for children. I just want to acknowledge that it's November and it's foster care month. And if we look at the stats that I would have presented, we have 650 children in residential care as opposed to 179 being fostered. Ideally, I would have hoped, everything being equal, that number was actually switched around. Why couldn't we have 650 in foster care? At least we know that although it's a temporary family setting, they're in a family setting as opposed to 650 being in institutions, in residential homes. So I'm urging persons, communities, individuals to come out and to be a foster parent. It's not permanent. It's basically you opening your hearts and your homes to a child who is in need, right? Also, what NGOs can do. So, ChildLinK being an NGO, we're already championing in the cause for the prevention of violence and abuse for children. And I know that other NGOs who do similar work, they're also championing the cause as well. What NGOs can basically do, partner with each other, liaison with each other, and not just with other NGOs, liaison with communities where the grassroots people are, going to communities, talk with people, let them know what are the services, how awful it is for an NGO to be in an area and a community is just nearby and people don't know what services are being offered, what services they can actually take advantage of. So liaison with communities, with families, and I think that's the only way that we can actually get this work done, because it's actually a lot of work if you think about it.
Yes, it is.
829 children in alternative care, and those are just the ones that we know about. What about those other children who are probably in their family setting but they're still being abused and they need our intervention? So I just want to leave with everyone, child protection, it's my responsibility, it's yours and it's yours. Basically, it's yours as well. It's everybody's responsibility to be a child protection officer or to be a child protector, actually.
It's everybody's business. And Junior?
Yeah, just quickly, I would like to touch on the preventative message, whereby before you have to have a child in alternative care, let's, as Stacy said, let's be our brother's keepers. Let's look out for each other. Provide opportunities as NGOs, provide opportunities whereby persons can have empowerment sessions, can have the necessary needs fulfilled, so that it don't reach to the part where the cycle is always repeated, and provide opportunity for those who would already been institutionalized, so that when they come back in the environment, they can also come into opportunities and so on. So that's it for me, and like Stacy said, that it's all of us business.
I would like to thank Stacy and Junior for taking time out to enlighten you out there about caring for our children. And if you're a neighbor, a brother, a friend, if your child is being abused, please do not keep silent. Please speak up and get that child help. I would really love to have them back with a second report.
Okay, we would love to be back
And
as
I'm
well.
sure that you're looking for more NGOs to come on board because it is about partnership.
Definitely.
So let's work together. And the parents out there, please take time, as Stacy mentioned, listen to your children. Spend time with them. Take time out. Allow them to trust you. Let them trust you. And that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you, Marissa.
Enjoy your evening.
Bye.